So my mom booked a little trip, just a few days down at the beach for me, her, my grandma, and my aunt, just to spend some nice family time together. And when we were getting ready to leave, before my grandma and my aunt showed up at my house, she said to me probably 1,000 times, like, this is a go with the flow kind of trip. We don't have an agenda, we don't have a schedule, so just chill out and go with the flow. Now, I'm sure she said this to me because I am the absolute opposite of that. I struggle with going with the flow. I feel like I always have to have a plan of every single thing that I'm going to do laid out way in advance. I don't do well with spontaneity a lot of the time. I think that's because when I do a go with the flow type of thing, I feel like I don't have control over the situation, which gives me anxiety, because things that are out of my control give me anxiety. So when she said that, I decided that I was going to challenge myself to slow down and just go with the flow. Kind of literally force myself to, because I really don't ever do that. I don't remember the last time I didn't feel like my mind was racing at 1,000 miles per hour. So I made it my mission to literally force myself to slow down. Yeah. Dude, there's way more on this side.
There's more restaurants.
Like, way more in general.
Oh my God, there's
I set time limits for my social media apps, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Facebook. I put a 5-minute timer on it, and I just actually this morning found out that when you group them together like that, that means you get 5 minutes amongst all of them, not 5 minutes per app. I did this because I know that I always feel better after I take a social media break of any length. I haven't done it in a really long time. My natural instinct at this point when I pick up my phone is to swipe down and type in Instagram, or because I don't have the apps on my home screen. I thought that would help me. It didn't. And I also didn't want to delete the apps because then it deletes all my drafts and I have things in there that I needed to be saved. So I put a time limit on all of them so that it literally tells me my time is up and forces me to be like, okay, I have a conscious decision I'm going to make right now. Do I want to continue scrolling, or do I want to make the decision to get up because now I'm being prompted to, if that makes sense. I started reading the book Atomic Habits a couple weeks ago, and one of the things that the author talked about was making your not bad but like inefficient habits obvious. like calling them out when, you know, you start doing them. So it makes it obvious that I need to get up and do something else because my phone is literally telling me to. I did that yesterday and I'm really already feeling better. Social media is great in moderation. It's a very fine line when it gets out of hand, and I feel like for me, I'm crossing that line every single day. For some reason, I just don't have the self-control to pull myself away from my phone when I start scrolling on it. So having a literal obvious reminder, like my phone itself telling me to get off of it, is like the only thing I can do at this point. I've read almost an entire book. I started it yesterday. It's the Jeanette McCurdy, I'm Glad My Mom Died. What is that called?
Hello.
I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. I started yesterday and I'm literally almost done. It probably helps that I didn't have my phone and social media to distract me since I put time limits on it, but I just genuinely am enjoying this book so freaking much. And I'm not somebody who reads a lot of nonfiction. I feel like most of the time when I get lost in a book, it's a fiction one, but just the way that it's written, the way that the story kind of unfolds, it doesn't really feel like nonfiction. It feels like she's just telling a story, but it's her life. It is such a good book. I love reading. I feel like it pulls me out of my own reality and puts me into somebody else's for a second, and also in a way that I feel like isn't toxic, because social media can also pull me out of my current reality, but I don't feel like it's necessarily positive, the effects that it has. But reading, there's really no negative side to picking up a book. I can't think of one off the top of my head. If I do, I'll let you know. I'm sweating. My mom booked us this like nature tour boat ride thing that we did this morning. So we got on this little boat with some other people and rode out to Assateague Island. It was very fun. It was like 3 hours long and we all really enjoyed it. So I'm really glad that we did that. I've never been out there.
If the fin's curved, the back of the fin,
Yeah.
if that's curved, that's gone for a porpoise. Well, that's great.
Wow, 3 of them, 4.
Yeah, they're all good. Now you get some.
4 of them.
There they go.
Wow, look.
When we were on the boat, we were passing by a lot of like huge mansions like on the water and huge boats with them and stuff, and the person that was driving our boat was like, you know, whenever I come by here at night, there's never any lights on, there's never anybody home. One of the other people who were on the boat with us said something, and I wrote it down because it kind of made me think, which is like weird because it doesn't directly apply to me what he said, obviously, because I don't own one of the big like mansions, but it said something along the lines of that these people spent so much time, or they spend so much time working for those big houses, then they don't have enough time to enjoy them. This kind of made me think about how I am with my anxiety. I spend so much time worrying about things that I don't actually have time to enjoy them. This made more sense in my head, but I feel like it kind of makes sense. I'm never really in the moment, I think, is what it is. Most of my time is spent either looking forward to or worrying about something that's happening in the future. It takes like a genuine conscious effort for me to be in the present time, really fully be there and have my mind there. It's so easy for my mind to wander and think about literally anything else. A lot of the time when I'm worrying about things, it is about the future. So I spend so much time worrying about everything that's happening or everything that's going to happen that then when it actually comes time for it, I don't have time to enjoy it because I'm either worrying about it or I'm on to worrying about something else. So I feel like I'm never really fully present and enjoying the moment that I'm currently in. And then when the moment is gone, it's gone. And I'm like, well, what the fuck? It just made me think. The air conditioner was on for so long. Okay, what I was saying was, what was I saying? Oh yeah, one of my goals at the beginning of this little quick getaway trip was I wanted to force myself to slow down, but now I also realize that I need to force myself to live in the moment way more. Not just here, obviously, but in my everyday life. It also is so interesting when I start thinking about stuff like this because it makes perfect sense in my head. But then when I go to say it out loud, it doesn't make any sense, and I feel like I'm just rambling and speaking in circles and nothing, I'm not even hitting the point. I'm like dancing around the point, but I can't articulate what the point is. But I have it, I know it in my brain. Like I know what I'm thinking, what I'm trying to say, hello. But then when it comes time for me to open my mouth and actually say it out loud, I like can't. It's weird. Maybe I should have like written all this down in like a journal or something before I started talking, before I started filming, so that I could have had a grasp on what I was going to say. But that's another thing that I don't want to do. I don't want to feel rehearsed or scripted or forced. It just makes me feel, I don't know. I want to be a go with the flow person. I don't want to have to plan out every single thing I'm going to say and do because that's exhausting. And then I feel like if I don't do it the exact way that I planned it, I feel like I failed. And that just doesn't even make sense. I don't know what I'm saying at this point, but those are my thoughts for now. My balcony thoughts.